Welcome back to the channel, basketball fans around the world. Today, we are embarking on a massive, unprecedented deep dive into the current state of the Philippine men's national basketball team, Gilas Pilipinas. We are unpacking a series of breaking headlines, swirling rumors, and intense fan debates that have taken the Philippine basketball community by storm. The title of today's exhaustive analysis addresses three burning topics that are dominating social media, sports forums, and barbershop arguments from Manila to the diaspora across the globe. First, we must address the glaring translation and the sentiment behind the viral headline stating, "Gilas is just hope for Justin Brownley." For our English-speaking audience, we need to gently correct and contextualize this phrasing. This stems from the Tagalog word, asa. While asa can indeed translate directly to the word hope, in the rugged, critical context of sports debate, asa lang kay Brownley translates to a far more concerning concept, over-reliance. The critics are not saying Gilas is Brownley's hope. They are arguing that Gilas Pilipinas is entirely, dangerously, and single-handedly depending on Justin Brownley to bail them out of every difficult situation on the international stage. We will explore whether this is a fair critique of Coach Tim Cohn's system or simply the reality of having a generational import. Second, we are diving into the intense, and sometimes unforgiving, criticism surrounding Scotty Thompson. How does a beloved former Philippine Basketball Association most valuable player, a man known for his relentless motor, incredible rebounding, and undeniable heart, suddenly find himself in the crosshairs of the Gilas fanbase? We will break down the fundamental differences between domestic professional play and the unforgiving, highly scouted landscape of FIBA international basketball, analyzing exactly why his game is being heavily scrutinized. And third, we will look at the ultimate game changer, the towering hope of the nation, Kaisato. What is his exact status for the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers? How has his game evolved in the overseas leagues? And what did his recent near triple-double performance against powerhouse New Zealand show us about the future of Philippine basketball? This is not just a quick news update. This is a comprehensive, feature-length documentary analysis of the tactics, the psychology, the history, and the future of Gilas Pilipinas. So, settle in, because we are leaving no stone unturned. To truly understand the weight of these criticisms and the immense pressure placed upon the shoulders of players like Justin Brownley, Scotty Thompson, and Kaisato, we must first lay the groundwork by understanding what basketball means to the Republic of the Philippines. In many countries, basketball is just a sport. It is a pastime. It is a form of entertainment. In the Philippines, basketball is woven into the very fabric of society. It is an obsession, a religion, and a unifying force that transcends socio-economic status, geography, and politics. From the improvised makeshift wooden backboards nailed to coconut trees in the remote provinces, to the pristine air-conditioned arenas in Metro Manila holding tens of thousands of screaming fans, the bouncing of a basketball is the heartbeat of the nation. When the national team, Gilas Pilipinas, steps onto the hardwood, it is not merely 12 men playing a game. It is over 110 million people holding their collective breath. Every pass, every missed free throw, and every defensive rotation is hyperanalyzed by a populace that understands the game at an incredibly deep, passionate level. This unparalleled passion brings unparalleled scrutiny. The Filipino fanbase is arguably the most dedicated in the world, but they are also deeply knowledgeable and demanding. They do not just want victories. They want victories achieved with pride, with tactical superiority, and with the legendary puso, or heart, that has defined Philippine basketball for generations. Therefore, when the team struggles, or when the offensive execution looks stagnant, the public outcry is immediate and deafening. This is the crucible in which our current national team operates. Every single window of the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers is treated with the gravity of a Game 7. Under the leadership of legendary head coach Tim Cohn, the most decorated coach in the history of the Philippine Basketball Association with 25 championships, Gilas Pilipinas has entered a new era. We have transitioned away from the unpredictable, high-octane dribble drive systems of the past and moved toward a more structured, defense-oriented, and deliberate style of play. Coach Cohn emphasizes continuity, chemistry, and high basketball IQ. He has meticulously handpicked a tight-knit pool of players, opting for familiarity and synergy over simply throwing the most talented individual stars together at the last minute. This brings us to the monumental stakes of the 2025 FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. Gilas Pilipinas is not just playing to qualify for a tournament. They are playing to re-establish their dominance in the Asian region and to build an unbreakable foundation for the future Olympic qualifying tournaments and the next FIBA World Cup. placed in a challenging group alongside the physically imposing Tall Blacks of New Zealand, the resilient squad of Chinese Taipei, and the gritty team from Hong Kong, every single possession matters. In recent action, we witnessed Gilas Pilipinas pull off a historic, momentous victory over New Zealand at the Mall of Asia Arena. It was a game that tested the physical limits and the mental fortitude of the entire roster. But even in victory, even when the final buzzer sounds and the Philippines emerges triumphant, the deep dive analysis by the fans never stops. The jubilation of a win is almost immediately followed by a rigorous dissection of the team's flaws. And that meticulous dissection has led directly to the three massive talking points we are addressing today. Let us pivot into the deep dive analysis. We will break down the mechanics, the statistics, and the underlying truths behind the headlines that are shaking the Philippine basketball landscape. We begin with the most prominent and fiercely debated headline: Gilas is just relying on Brownley. Justin Brownley is not just a naturalized player for the Philippines. He is a bona fide national hero. His name is permanently etched into the history books. We all remember the miraculous gold medal winning run at the Asian Games in Hangzhou, China. We remember the impossible, contested three-pointers he drained in the dying seconds to silence the host nation and bring glory back to the Philippines after a 61-year gold medal drought. Brownley has bled for the jersey, played through exhaustion, and continuously demonstrated a level of dedication that resonates deeply with the Filipino people. However, sports analysis requires us to separate emotional gratitude from tactical reality. The criticism that Gilas Pilipinas relies too heavily on Justin Brownley is not an attack on Brownley himself. Rather, it is a critique of the team's offensive architecture and the supporting cast's ability to create their own offense when the play breaks down. When we look at the statistics from the recent FIBA windows, the numbers tell a compelling story. Brownley is consistently leading the team in scoring, often averaging well over 20 points per game, pulling down high numbers of rebounds, and acting as the primary facilitator when the shot clock winds down. In the grueling matchup against New Zealand, Brownley played a staggering 37 minutes, pouring in 26 points, grabbing 11 rebounds, and securing crucial blocks and steals. The critics argue that this is an unsustainable model. In modern international FIBA basketball, defenses are incredibly sophisticated. Opposing coaches from European and top-tier Asian teams scout meticulously. They know that if they can deny Brownley the ball, trap him in the pick and roll, or force him to give up his dribble early, the entire Gilas offensive machine stutters. The give the ball to Justin and get out of the way approach, often referred to as hero ball, works spectacularly well when you have a player of his caliber catching fire. But what happens when the shots are not falling? What happens when a team with massive, athletic wing defenders face guards him for 40 minutes? The reliance on Brownley masks deeper structural issues within the half-court offense. While Coach Tim Cohn's system is brilliant at creating reads and reactions, there are long stretches in the game where the ball sticks. The ball movement ceases, the weak side action stops, and four players end up standing and watching Brownley attempt to break down his defender in isolation. This is an immense physical and mental burden to place on a player who, while incredibly conditioned, is navigating the later stages of his athletic prime. To truly compete at the highest global level, to beat the top European and American teams, Gilas Pilipinas needs secondary and tertiary creators to step up consistently. Dwight Ramos has shown brilliant flashes of being that secondary scorer, utilizing his size and smooth stroke to punish defenses. Chris Newsome provides elite perimeter defense and slashing ability. But the offense must become more democratic. The reliance on Brownley is a double-edged sword. He is the ultimate safety net, but leaning on that net too often prevents the rest of the team from developing the offensive autonomy required to win against the world's absolute elite. The criticism is valid, but it is a systemic problem that the coaching staff is actively trying to solve by building chemistry and trust among the other floor generals. This naturally transitions us to our second major headline, the intense criticism surrounding Scotty Thompson. To understand the frustration directed at Scotty Thompson, we have to recognize his immense pedigree. In the Philippine Basketball Association, Thompson is an absolute titan. He is a former MVP, a multi-time champion, and widely regarded as one of the most unique point guards in the history of the league. Standing at barely 6'1", he is known for his supernatural rebounding ability, his relentless hustle, and his uncanny knack for making winning plays. He is the ultimate energy guy, the heartbeat of Barangay Ginebra, and a player who does all the dirty work that does not always show up on the stat sheet. So, why is a player with such a decorated resume facing a barrage of criticism when he puts on the national colors? The answer lies in the fundamental, unforgiving differences between domestic professional basketball and the highest levels of international FIBA competition. In the PBA, Thompson's athletic advantages, his timing, and his familiarity with the defensive schemes allow him to dominate the glass and push the pace in transition. However, on the international stage, the geometry of the court and the physical profiles of the opponents change drastically. When Gilas plays teams like New Zealand, Australia, or European powerhouses, the opposing point guards are often 6'4" or taller. The driving lanes that exist in domestic leagues are completely sealed off by massive, mobile rim protectors. The most glaring criticism leveled at Thompson in the FIBA setting is his perimeter shooting. In modern international basketball, a point guard who cannot consistently hit the outside shot is a severe tactical liability. When Thompson runs a pick and roll, elite opposing defenses simply go under the screen. They sag off him, daring him to shoot the three-pointer, and instead pack the paint to cut off driving lanes for Justin Brownley, Kaisato, and Junmar Fajardo. This lack of perimeter gravity ruins the offensive spacing. It makes the court shrink. Furthermore, fans have criticized his decision-making and turnover rate in high-pressure international moments. The defensive pressure applied by global guards is suffocating. It forces rushed passes and disrupts the timing of Coach Cohn's intricate offensive sets. While Thompson still manages to secure incredible offensive rebounds and provides undeniable defensive intensity, averaging around 6 assists per game in the recent qualifiers, the modern international game demands a point guard who can be a multi-level scoring threat to keep the defense honest. It is a harsh reality of international basketball. A player can be a domestic legend, but if their skill set has a specific vulnerability, like outside shooting, international scouting will expose and exploit it ruthlessly. The criticism of Scottie Thompson is not about his effort. Nobody in the world doubts his heart or his commitment to the team. The criticism is purely tactical. Fans are questioning whether his specific archetype of a non-shooting rebounding guard is the optimal fit for a starting point guard in the modern FIBA landscape, especially when floor spacing is the most valuable commodity in the game. Coach Tim Cohn values Thompson for his familiarity with the system, his defensive tenacity, and his rebounding, but the clamor from the outside is for guards who can stretch the floor and punish defenses that choose to pack the paint. Finally, we arrive at the third and perhaps most exciting segment of our analysis: the presence and impact of Kaisato in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. For years, Kaisato has carried the impossible weight of being the next big thing for Philippine basketball. Standing at 7'3", with a soft shooting touch and excellent passing vision, he is the unicorn that the national program has been waiting decades for. His journey has been heavily scrutinized, from his early days in the high school ranks, to his ventures in the United States, his time in the Australian National Basketball League, and now his current tenure in the fiercely competitive Japanese B-League. The headline asking about his status in the FIBA Asia Cup stems from recent injury concerns, including concussion protocols that had fans holding their breath. However, when Sotto was cleared to play, he answered the call in a way that signaled a massive leap in his development. Against New Zealand, a team renowned for their physical, bruising style of play and dominant big men, Kaisato did not just survive, he thrived. He put on an absolute masterclass, silencing doubters and proving that his overseas experience has hardened him into a legitimate international force. He registered a spectacular near triple-double, posting 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, while also adding 2 blocks and 2 steals. This performance is a monumental shift for Gilas Pilipinas. Let us break down why those 7 assists are just as important, if not more important, than the 19 points. In the past, the Philippine offense often struggled with entry passes to the post. But Sotto has developed into an elite high-post facilitator. When he receives the ball at the top of the key, his sheer height allows him to see over the defense. He is finding backdoor cutters, executing perfectly timed dribble handoffs, and punishing double teams with pinpoint passes to open shooters. Justin Brownley himself went on record to shower Sotto with praise, explicitly stating that playing alongside the young giant makes the game significantly easier for everyone on the floor. Moreover, Sotto is developing a terrifying chemistry with a veteran powerhouse, Junmar Fajardo. Coach Tim Cohn has experimented with playing the two giants together, a twin tower lineup that creates absolute nightmares for opposing teams on the glass. Sotto's versatility allows him to slide to the power forward position, stretching the defense with his mid-range jumper, while Fajardo goes to work in the low block. When one rests, the other anchors the paint, ensuring that Gilas always has a massive, intimidating presence protecting the rim. Kaisato is no longer just a prospect. He is a foundational pillar of the national team. His ability to alter shots on defense without fouling, combined with his evolving offensive toolkit, elevates the ceiling of Gilas Pilipinas entirely. The narrative has shifted from, "What can Kaisato become?" to, "Look at what Kaisato is doing right now against world-class competition." He is the key to unlocking the true potential of the squad and alleviating some of that heavy reliance on Justin Brownley that we discussed earlier. As we begin to wrap up this extensive breakdown, it is crucial to step back and look at the broader picture of Philippine basketball. The headlines we dissected today, the reliance on Brownley, the tactical critiques of Thompson, and the emergence of Sotto, are not isolated incidents. They are interconnected narratives that tell the story of a program in transition, a program striving to bridge the gap between being a regional powerhouse and a true global contender. The criticisms, while sometimes harsh and unfiltered in the arena of social media, ultimately stem from a place of deep love and high expectations. The fans analyze every rotation, every missed assignment, and every coaching decision because they desperately want to see the flag raised in victory. They understand the mechanics of the game, and they are demanding excellence. Coach Tim Cohn has an incredibly difficult task ahead of him. He is managing the twilight years of a national hero in Justin Brownley, trying to maximize his brilliance while simultaneously building a system that can survive without him. He is navigating the complexities of integrating domestic stars like Scottie Thompson into a global game that exposes specific weaknesses. And he is fostering the growth of young phenoms like Kaisato, Carl Tamayo, and Kevin Kiambao, trying to blend their modern skill sets with the veteran leadership of the old guard. The journey through the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be ugly possessions, frustrating turnovers, and games where the offense looks stagnant. But there will also be moments of absolute brilliance, moments where the defensive rotations are flawless, and moments where the legendary heart of the Philippine team shines through. What the team needs now, more than ever, is the nuanced understanding of the fans. It is perfectly valid to critique the over-reliance on isolation plays. It is valid to discuss the spacing issues created by non-shooting guards. But it is also vital to recognize the immense physical sacrifice these players make every time they answer the call of duty for the national team. They are battling fatigue, injuries, and immense psychological pressure to bring pride to the country. As the qualifiers progress, we need to keep a close eye on the tactical adjustments. Will we see more off-ball screens to free up shooters? Will we see a faster pace in transition to avoid setting up against set half-court defenses? Will Kaisato continue to be utilized as a primary playmaker from the high post? The answers to these questions will determine the ultimate fate of Gilas Pilipinas in the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup in Jeddah, and more importantly, in their long-term quest to make waves in the next World Cup and the Olympic Games. This program is building something sustainable. The foundation is being laid block by block. The integration of young, tall, and highly skilled players who have gained experience in international leagues, like AJ Edu, Dwight Ramos, and Kaisato, marks a departure from the undersized, scrappy teams of the past. We are entering an era where the Philippines can match the size and athleticism of the world's best, and now the focus must be entirely on executing the complex tactics required to win at that elite level. Thank you for staying with us through this incredibly deep, comprehensive documentary analysis. We have unpacked the truths behind the viral headlines, broken down the tactical realities of the international game, and looked closely at the individuals who carry the hopes of 100 million people. Basketball is more than just a game. It is a mirror reflecting the resilience, the passion, and the unwavering spirit of a nation. We want to hear your thoughts. Do you agree that the team relies too much on Justin Brownley? Do you think the criticisms of Scotty Thompson are fair, or do his intangibles make up for his shooting? And how far do you think Kaisato can take this team in the years to come? The debate continues. The passion remains burning hot, and the future of Gilas Pilipinas is unfolding right before our very eyes. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and we will catch you in the next deep dive.